Welcome to the Intercourse Show. I'm your host, Mr. B. Today we have a very exciting show for you. We are talking another Kevin Samuels interview where he interviews two young ladies who I guess aren't as accountable for their decisions making when it came to dating. Haven't seen this one, so we're gonna react to it accordingly. So let's jump into it.
Kevin's original channel. That's how we keep his message spreading and his legacy alive.
Hi, Kevin.
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
What's your
today?
disagreement?
It's more of like a counter, if that's okay.
Well, counter to
About
what?
Mediocre men.
Mediocre what?
Mediocre men, right? So we're talking
Mediocre
about like the
men.
mediocreness of women.
Mediocre. No. I want to be clear on what you said. You said mediocre men. Is that what you said? Is that what you said? Is that what you said? Is that what you said?
So the topic is yes.
No. Is that what you said?
Yes.
All right. How old are you?
I am 26.
26. How tall are you?
I am 5'8".
Dress size?
That I'm not aware of. We don't. I'm from Canada, so we don't do dress sizes.
Okay. How much you weighed the last time you weighed yourself? And I know they do dress sizes in Canada.
I was 185 the last time I weighed myself, so I am over.
185?
Well aware. Yes.
When was the last time you weighed yourself?
That was probably about 2 days ago at work. Yeah.
So why, when on entire broadcast I'm talking about mediocre women, do you want to come in and try to change it to men?
So my thing with that is there is a highlight on women. But
where?
Where
is there a highlight on women?
Well, I'm quite aware of it. I'm not
where, but I'm asking you, where is there a highlight on women?
There's not, because there's too much.
But you said there's a highlight on women, and I'm saying where?
Well, on your broadcast, for one.
One freaking broadcast on YouTube.
Well, and I think in most people who are realistic about everyday life, Like,
no, I don't think you're being realistic. There's not a highlight on women.
Well, I'm realistic towards those senses.
So you want to go all the way from women being told you can have everything and no microscope being really placed on women in the real way. And I did an entire broadcast on no. Then I talk about mediocre women needing help, and you want to go straight past women into the men. Go for it. Let's hear about what's wrong with the men.
Honestly, I probably just came in a little too late to the broadcast. I just saw the YouTube link. I saw the topic, and I saw that it was, are women mediocre?
Yeah, so are they? Are modern women mediocre?
Oh, absolutely.
All right.
Absolutely. With the constant,
Are you in that category?
Currently, yes.
Currently, have you ever been not mediocre? Have you ever been mediocre?
Oh, absolutely.
When?
Probably when I was between the ages of 18 and 22. I think that was like the
and
highlight.
How much did you weigh then?
Premium.
How much did you weigh then?
I was 120. I was 115, 120.
Okay, and so why the doubling of the weight?
Again, personal stuff, lost in myself, not caring. Just
and you all right.
Right? Like straight up, it was I stopped giving a damn. I wasn't working as hard. I stopped going on runs and things like that.
And during that time, have you had sex?
During what time? When I was younger?
During the time you fell off, were you having sex at any time during that time?
Yeah, for sure.
And that's the problem, guys. You continue to stick your penis in this. That's the problem. That's why they can get on the camera and start talking about mediocre men when the big as a planet, smoking a cigarette.
Okay, this interview just went off the rails really, really, really quickly. Kevin Samuels is not playing around. Clearly, she rubbed him the wrong way. All right, she came on. I guess he was doing a show topic on mediocre modern women, and she called in and wanted to say that they were mediocre men. And it seems as if that was a trigger for Kevin, because I guess the whole talk about men being mediocre, there's a ton of channels and a ton of programming that pushes that messaging. And he was saying he's one of very few channels that actually talks about the woman's side, you know, about certain women who make poor decisions and things of that nature. And society somehow gives them a pass, but men tend to get all the slack for the behaviors of some of these women. So the two are ideologically on opposite sides of the fence. She seems more feminist minded to me, and Kevin is pro man all the way. So this is likely to continue to go off the rails. Let's continue.
I mean, what am I supposed to do with this? And it's like, okay, I cannot honestly sit back and listen to a woman who's built like the planet Ego talk about mediocre men while she's smoking on a motherfucking Newport. Are you serious? Hello.
Hi.
How
are you?
I'm good. How are
I'm
you?
doing well.
Good.
Is this hold on, I hear a sound.
Turn off your video in the background.
Okay. Yeah, I'm getting it together.
All right. So what's your disagreement?
I do believe that some people do have kind of too high standards, but I think a lot of Black women kind of get lumped into that. I have faith that there are a lot better Black women.
First off, how old are you? How old are you?
25.
Are you married?
No, I'm not.
Are you dating anyone?
I'm seeing someone.
So you said a lot of Black women get lumped into that. Go ahead.
Yeah, just lumped into being mediocre or difficult, not friendly.
Lumped in
that
by
hasn't
who?
been my experience.
Lumped in by who?
By a lot of like YouTubers. I won't really call out anyone, but
and they're just making stuff up, huh?
I wouldn't say they're making it up. Maybe that's their experience, but I'll just have to disagree with that experience.
Where do you live?
I live in Michigan.
What part?
Right outside of Detroit.
So, how long have you been watching my show?
About maybe a month or so, but pretty frequently.
Okay. So, I have conversations in real time with the women.
I've seen.
See what I'm calling on what you're saying. I'm saying it's bullshit.
Okay. You're entitled to your opinion.
It's like, well, I think a lot of women get thrown up into that position. Okay, well, then defend what you said. I've show evidence. People that I know show evidence. You just said something.
Okay, well, I can offer a different perspective. I'm a smiley person, but I guess to go back on that smile conversation, I'm living in Detroit.
You are a smiley person. I spent 2 hours talking to Black women who felt offended by smiling. So let's do this. Take it outside of you and your friend group.
Okay. And if I take it outside of me and my friend group, I can just offer a perspective for them, especially like being in the Detroit area where I think a lot of Black women don't feel protected and safe.
Hold on. You can't just say things like that and keep it moving. What do you mean don't feel protected? Protected by whom?
I think our main protector should be Black men.
Okay, you're right. Where's your husband?
Yeah. I don't have one.
Then you shouldn't be protected.
So you don't think that the Black community should stand up for each other?
Nope, because the Black women don't. Black women don't. No, I'll tell you why. But no, don't just roll on. No, I'll tell you why. Because Black women like yourself, Black women like yourself, if you're unmarried, unmoored, you shouldn't be protected. That's what you fought for. Where's your husband? He's your first line of protection. He's your first line of protection. Where's your husband?
Okay, that's the first line, but I mean,
no, that's the primary line. That is the primary line. See, if women like yourself had more than opinions and you've had husbands, we'd have an entire neighborhood full of women who had husbands like we did prior to 1965. So that's when you had protection. You got a bunch of single, unmarried women, you've got no protection. Remember, we're talking about women who are offended by the notion of even smiling. So when you guys come over here talking this protection shit, I'm sorry. If you watch my videos, I don't even know how you can say that with a straight face.
Okay, I get it. So even if you don't think we deserve to be protected,
I didn't say you didn't deserve to be protected. I didn't say you didn't deserve to be protected. I said your protection is your husband.
Okay,
and then after that, it's the men of your family. Yeah. Like every other race of women. Every other race of women, who protects them?
I feel like they have more of a sense of unity. So
that's not what I asked. That's not what I asked. I'm going to ask it again. Who protects other women?
Their husbands, their family, like maybe their brother or uncle would be next. And then
that's stop.
That's in their race.
Stop. No. And that's how it's supposed to happen. That's how it's supposed to happen.
Okay, I agree with that. Like that's the hierarchy of it. But I don't think it stops there at just family.
Sure, it does.
People should still.
What percentage of protection what percentage of protection should come outside of the men of your family?
Okay, can we say respect, not even just protection?
No, we're talking. No. We're not gonna switch it up. I want to know what percentage of protection should come out from the men outside of your family.
If you're not with a man that's in your family, you should.
That's not what I asked. That's not what I asked. That's not what I asked.
Maybe about 30%.
30% of your protection should come from the men of your family. Okay.
I'm saying outside of the family, 30%. So 70 for the men.
So 70% should come from the men of your family. 70 should come from the men of your family. Right?
Yes.
That is a hell of a lot of protection. And that's what most societies have. That is what most societies have. Women who are married and have men in their family have protection greater than 50%. But when you have an 80% out of wedlock childbirth rate and no husbands, and 1 in 4 of you will be married, look at the numbers. 1 in 4 will be married. Isn't that very close to that 30% out of an unprotected rate? 26%. Black women will marry in their lifetime.
Marriage is a big problem in our community.
The big problem is no. Marriage is a big problem in our community because you ladies don't stay in your relationships.
And then also what causes ladies to leave?
That's bullshit. No. See what you've just proven. You're going to have to do much better than just talking points. This is another mediocre woman. So I'm going there, man. If you're going to just keep talking points, it's going to be a long day because everything that's come out of your mouth has been deflection. No accountability from
offer you another perspective because you said
I don't care about. I don't want a feminist perspective. I don't care about that. Go over. You can go anywhere else and give that perspective. That perspective has ruined our community. Your
shots fired. Kevin Samuels clearly is not holding his tongue with this young lady. And again, it's that feminist energy in the room. You hear this argument all the time. Black women are not protected. So they're victims because they're not protected. And I think Kevin Samuels doesn't have much tolerance for this type of argument, because a lot of times it's rooted in some feminist point of view, where you're supposed to sympathize for the women. You have to ask the question, well, why are certain women not protected? Because that may be very well true. I think the reason is because Black women tend to take an independent position where they want to be independent when it's convenient for them to be, but they also expect to be protected. Generally speaking, when you're claiming independence, you're saying, I don't need my male counterpart to help me because I'm independent. I stand alone. I don't need a man. So if you don't need a man, why do you need a man to protect you? He asked her the question, well, what percentage of men outside of your family should protect you? She said 30%. So that means for every 3 out of 10 men that some women don't give the time of day to, the expectation in her mind is that those men, despite the fact that, they're sometimes rude to those men, don't smile at them, they're not kind to them, and they're often criticizing them and emasculating them, they still expecting those same men to protect them. And Kevin just takes a position of, why do they owe you that? If you don't respect the man you want protection from, then he's not obligated to protect you. If you don't honor the man in your community that looks like you, then he has no obligation to honor you and to stand in the gap to protect you. Now, one has to ask the question of, how do you think you need to be protected? That's another question. Because when a man's in a relationship with a woman, of course, he's assuming responsibility for the woman. So he protects her by standing in the gap, making sure that she's associated or attached to him. So one of the reasons when we get married, the woman typically takes on the last name of the man she marries. That's to symbolize to the world, she is now connected to this family and this lineage. So when you think of her, you have to think of the man and his family that married her. So then there's a whole thing in terms of that man or that family's reputation that'll be pronounced upon her, right? If I said Rockefeller, somebody married into the Rockefeller family, that's a pretty prestigious name in American society. That's a pretty famous family. There's the protection that comes from that. If I say King Charles, right, there's a protection that comes through that because the name is British royalty. So generally when a man assigns his name to you, that's a form of protection because he's saying, when you see her, you see me. In the same way your children take your last name. When you see them, you see me, right? That's an extension of that man. But when women are seeking independence and they're not seeking to be under the protection of a man, why should they expect protection from men that aren't theirs? That's the bigger question. As you can see, Kevin's about to flesh it out. Let's see.
Perspective is no accountability for women.
No, I do believe some women should be held accountable.
No, some, actions. All.
Yeah, but we don't hold 100% of the failures of our relationships and marriages in the Black community. We're not always
80% of divorces are filed in Black America are filed by women.
Okay, that's the divorces, but what's causing these divorces? I think we can't just look at
women
that.
Filing divorce is what's causing divorce. Are you fucking kidding me?
Are they filing divorce?
Women filing divorce is causing divorce. Women filing, don't talk over me.
She's spicy.
Women filing divorce is causing divorce. Deal with that. Deal with that point. Was your grandmother married?
Okay. Yes, she was.
How long?
Her situation a little different. She's still married actually, but separated.
How long?
So since she maybe was about 22, so what, 50 years or so?
Women filing divorce causes divorce. Your grandmother's still married. That means she didn't file for
doesn't see her
divorce.
husband ever.
That means she didn't file for divorce. Accountability is kryptonite to modern women. And logic, just don't get it. What do you think you're going to accomplish by coming over here just around the same talking points?
I haven't heard these perspectives on the show yet, so I'm sorry if I missed those talking points.
These are the talking points, ma'am. These are the talking points that have destroyed our community. This all you've heard is what you're saying is why as part of the reason our community is so fucked up. Why do we need more of that?
What I'm saying about looking more into the root of why Black men and Black women can't stay together.
Yeah, because Black women leave.
More than just
because Black women leave their relationships.
But why aren't white women leaving their relationships? Or
we're talking about Black women. See what just happened, class. See what just happened, class. Too. Don't talk over me.
It's called deflection.
I'm gonna tell you one more time, and then I'm gonna get real ugly with you. I don't do that, young lady. How old are you?
I'm 25.
Why do you think it's all right to when I'm talking, you just talk over me?
I was actually just finishing my thought when you started talking.
But if I'm the host of the show, see, it's funny. Go back about 5 minutes ago, and this is the same woman talking about protection and respect. But this is what it means. Even a 25-year-old woman feels like she is in a place enough to where I'm going to finish my thought no matter what you say. That's exactly why you will end up where you are. Because you are the reflection of so many women. No accountability, deflection. It's everybody else's fault. Then when you ask a question about a Black woman, you want to ask about, well, what about white women? What about ism? This is what, and older Black women, this is what you've raised. This is what you've raised. So when you're asking your son, where's his wife and where are your grandchildren, when he says, because I can't find a woman worth marrying, this is what he's talking about. And then when you see her and she looks nice and friendly, until you sit down and listen to what's going on in her head, and there'll be no peace here.
It's a fact.
I don't know. I mean, I've been told that I'm very peaceful. I'm very level-headed and pretty chill.
Mm-hmm. By whom?
By everyone. You could ask anyone that I know.
Mm-hmm.
And I wouldn't consider myself to be mediocre, but I'm just calling into the show because, I usually value your
I'm talking about what's coming out of your mouth is mediocre. It's the same stuff.
Kevin just got raw and honest with this young lady. And it's true. She has a very beautiful face. She looks very, appealing, and she's attractive. She's got a great smile. But it's what's in her head. And so for a lot of young men, you got to pay attention. You got to listen to what a lot of women are saying because it identifies a mindset that they have. His point that he made, he's hosting a show online where there's a number of people watching, and he has to moderate the show and kind of control the flow of the show. When he attempts to speak, she speaks over him because she didn't finish her thought. In a lot of the questions that she has, in a lot of the question that he asked her, there's a lot of deflection. He asked her a question about Black women. She deflects, but what about white women? Right? He's making a point about accountability and the lack thereof. And she's demonstrating how a lot of times there isn't much accountability. She is presenting herself as a voice, maybe for feminism, where she feels like she can call in to defend the fact that women are not the mediocre ones, men are. There may be truth on both sides. There are mediocre men and there are mediocre women. But when he asked her direct questions, specifically around the points that she's trying to raise, she deflects all the time. Now, Kevin's issue with her is that she's raising up common points that are raised that continues to perpetuate this mindset that is bringing division between our community rather than unifying the community, right? He brought statistics. A lot of times relationships in our community is not working because the women aren't staying in the relationships. Now, there are valid reasons for women to leave relationships. If you're in a relationship where a dude is beating you or harming you on that level or anything, you got to get out of there. That's not safe for you. And I would never encourage any woman to, stick around to be abused. Outside of those circumstances, a lot of times women leave their relationships because they're not happy. No fault divorce, right? So all it takes is you not being happy and you get to leave the relationship and you're incentivized to do it. So under those type of circumstances, he's saying that a lot of times you don't see accountability of saying, hey, we are not staying committed to our word and to our vows because we tend to leave whenever things get uncomfortable. And that's facts. That's a factual statement that he made. It does seem as if, though, she's been indoctrinated into the mindset of a independent, I am strong type of woman. And there's nothing wrong with that, provided that you apply that in the right areas. I think I get combative. Not combative in the sense that she's aggressive. She's very soft-spoken. That's not what it is. But she's constantly challenging everything he says. So I'm assuming if she's doing that to a 52-year-old man she don't know, whose show she called into to seek advice on, how to attract or to, bring in a particular type of man, that she'd be a bit more, respectful of his point of view. Maybe she wouldn't challenge him as much as a way of diminishing his points. But I'm guessing if she's doing that to a stranger who she's barely knows and probably isn't as comfortable with, she's likely to do that to whoever it is that signs up to date her. And maybe that's the case. Maybe it's not the case. But I would err on the side that it is. Right? Now, I don't know this person personally. I'm just essentially, based on my first expression, based on this interview, this is sort of my take on it. But I think even though she's passive, and soft-spoken, she probably is not a person who's often cooperative, who's submissive, to her man and, wanting to be led by her man. I think she's probably, the type who takes charge in a relationship she often gets into, based on the interactions that I'm seeing right there. That's what I would guess. Let's see how Kevin wraps it up.
It's the same stuff. You're not holding women strictly accountable for what they do. Okay, how about this? What are Black women accountable for strictly by themselves?
For the way that we carry ourselves and
Such
the way
as?
that we treat others.
Such as? Example.
I mean, some women don't carry themselves well, Black women, but a lot of us do have confidence, are friendly, are respectful, helpful, and active in the community. I think those are good ways to carry yourself.
So you just turned
Polite,
a negative into a
educated.
veiled. So you just turned a negative into a veiled positive.
I'm an optimistic
You
person.
just turned a
I don't know.
negative. You said, I said, what are black women accountable for strictly? And you said the way we carry ourselves. I said, okay, give me some examples. And then you went on to turn what you framed as a negative into a veiled positive. Uh-oh, it's the same shit. Even their negative is positive. You cannot make this up, people.
I'm not saying that black women do no wrong. I never said that.
Well, you haven't said any wrong yet. And even when you did say wrong, you turned it into a positive.
I just didn't dwell on the negative. Would you like me to?
You didn't.
Focus on
No,
the
you didn't. You didn't
negatives
say. Yeah. Okay. Whoever's dating her, I hope you got life insurance.
The video brings together two calls that both turn tense the moment accountability gets brought in. The first call starts with a 26-year-old trying to shift the topic to mediocre men during a discussion about women. Kevin shuts that down fast and runs through her stats. When her weight comes up, she admits she used to be in better shape, but let herself go after losing discipline. Even after admitting that, she keeps trying to redirect the focus away from herself. Kevin points out the contradiction and highlights how behavior like this keeps getting rewarded, which is why the conversation never moves forward. The second call escalates even more. A 25-year-old calls in saying women get unfairly grouped and misunderstood. Kevin pushes her to defend that outside her personal circle. She pivots to talking about safety and protection, which Kevin counters by asking about her relationship status. From there, the exchange gets heated. She talks over him, reframes negatives, and leans on common talking points. Kevin breaks down marriage, family structure, and who is responsible for outcomes. The call ends tense, with him labeling the mindset as the real issue behind the results. The topic is women, and suddenly it turns into men, society, YouTube, anything but the mirror. That move comes from an inability to sit with critique. Instead of tightening habits, the focus gets pushed sideways. At the same time, there's a strong denial game. Issues people see every day, lack of femininity, constant edge, low receptiveness, get brushed off like they don't exist. Say it out loud and it gets labeled as false, even when it's visible. Then comes the protection talk. A lot of women expect men to step in, defend, and provide safety, but a husband rarely gets placed at the center. Protection gets treated like something owed by the public instead of something built through marriage and family. You can't expect the benefits of a structure you refuse to build. Fellas, keep your standards tight and stand on them. If you're a solid man, you deserve a woman who brings peace into your life. Your protection, your provision, your presence. Those aren't things to hand out freely. Being in a relationship costs you time, energy, focus, and responsibility. That has to be respected. You showing up as a man already carries value, so be selective with who gets access to that. Ladies, if you want a strong relationship, you have to make room for it to grow. That means femininity, cooperation, and being easy to approach in real life. When feedback turns into an argument and every critique feels like an attack, good men take note and pull back. Softness doesn't weaken you. It makes your strength usable. If you want a man to lead, you have to let that happen without turning it into a constant power struggle. And when you find a solid man, stay grounded. Don't move off your position the moment things feel routine or another option pops up.
Shout out to No Filter Dose. I think his analysis was spot on. It is true that in relationships, we, i.e. both people, are too critical sometimes, and there isn't a willingness to work together. What you can see is that there are some women in our community who have a hard time accepting accountability for their actions. And again, it's not always direct and over, just openly recognizable when they push back passively against valid points that are made. Both of these women did attempt to shift the conversation from the accountability of women, when that was the topic that was being discussed, to change the conversation into the lack of accountability for men, so that they themselves will not have to be accountable. And when Kevin challenged them, you saw what comes out of a lot of women like this, which was deflection, misdirection, and just a lot of excuses. And unfortunately, that becomes way too common, and it only perpetuates the problem because no one's being honest about the issues that are obvious to their partners and to observers who watch it for what it is. So it is true. The advice that the young man gave is to make sure that you don't always perceive constructive criticism as something that you need to rebut or something that you need to dismiss. Instead, find it within yourself to ask the questions: is he right in some of the things that's being said? And are there areas that I can improve within myself when it comes to doing that? Bible says this one thing. It says, don't think bad of people who correct you, because they don't have to correct you. They don't have to point out the areas where, you're slipping. They could allow you to be deceived in thinking there is nothing wrong with you. But when a person stops to say, hey, I just want to share some constructive feedback with you, this is what I've noticed, maybe stop and take inventory of how you're being perceived by someone other than yourself. And that might be a point of growth for you, an opportunity for you to change and evolve. Now, that happens on both sides. But, some people don't have the capacity to accept the fact that they may not be perfect, and there may be areas that they need to work on. I just simply hope that you're not one of those people. All right. That being said, that's my thoughts of Mr. B. Please like and subscribe. Stay connected to the Intercourse Show, and let me know, what you feel about this topic. Share your thoughts, and, stay in touch as we, discuss various topics on this channel, but also as we, seek to add value to our users and our viewers. All right, guys, thank you for your time. And until we speak again, God bless.